So I was putting the videos together, and I noticed that this one particular day, one or all of us were getting lost. And so we decided, Daniel and I, to talk about these times when he or the rest of us would get lost. And it's kind of funny because it's the video that's going to follow this. But in the video, in the beginning of the video, beginning-ish, I'm talking about, I wonder where Daniel is. Oh, there he is crossing the bridge.
There's my crew up there crossing the bridge. Wonder where Daniel is. It's always nice to lose your son in a foreign country. I seem to be making a regular habit of it. And there he's crossing the bridge as well, in the that orange speck.
And luckily he was in orange, which is one of the best things I did in taking a child on the Camino was put him in orange. He kind of likes orange, and so he has a lot of orange clothes, so it wasn't quite intentional, but I had just purchased some orange things that he took.
It was neon orange too.
It's neon orange.
It's just made it so much better.
Right. And the rain cover of his backpack was yellow and his backpack was red. So if he was up ahead of me, I could see him more easily and find him. Whereas Jonathan, my 16-year-old, was wearing gray pants, gray backpack cover, green backpack, and I could never find him if he was ahead of me. My arm's getting tired of holding this.
Good. It means you're exercising.
Oh, also, we had rules in place where I would require Daniel to either walk with Jonathan or with me or with one of the other friends that we made down the road, and pretty much that worked pretty well. You know,
Sometimes I wouldn't follow the rules, though.
sometimes you wouldn't follow the rules.
No.
But most of the time, if you got ahead of me, because he's a faster, stronger walker than I am,
I would sit down.
he would sit down and wait.
Okay.
It felt nice. It felt good.
Yeah, it felt good. And he would be
good.
kind of like a turtle with his laying on his pack, because his pack was cushiony, and he didn't even want a seashell on the back of his pack. He had one for a little while.
And then it broke. I
And-
had one for like a day and it broke.
It broke because he would lay down on the back on his pack, and the
It was,
seashell was attached to the pack. And the seashell is the symbol of the Camino.
I broke the Camino.
He broke the Camino. All the lines on the seashell go to one central point, like all the paths of the Camino go to Santiago. So it's the symbol of the Camino de Santiago. There are other pilgrimages that have other symbols. So anyway, so he would usually wait for me. But this particular day, I am not quite sure what happened. And we were crossing the bridge with the swans, and I was taking pictures of the cute little Spanish kids and stuff, and he was ahead of me. I mean, you saw it in the video that he had crossed the bridge before me. But then I got down the path, and I think I saw Jonathan, and but I didn't see Daniel. And there was no orange or red dot ahead of me. And so I decided to turn around. I just had this gut feeling to turn around and to go look for him and make sure he wasn't back there, because there was a bathroom back there. There was a bridge back there with other children. And I did remember last year that I had some problems finding the Camino in that spot myself. So the arrows aren't exactly clear. You can't find them.
No.
This was outside of Logrono. You will walk through on the straight path. that is paved for forever. Then you cross by this lake,
Yeah.
and then you cross over a bridge where there's swans.
Yeah, and then you're supposed to go up a little bit and then diagonally, except there are no arrows telling you to do this. They forgot to put one in, and
Yeah.
the only arrow you can possibly see, you have to lean over to see the side of a church.
Right. So usually the arrows are really easy to see, or there's other pilgrims, that you follow. But in this particular spot, it was a little tricky. So I went back and I did find him. I guess he was walking with the other people, with Jonathan, or I don't know who he was walking with. And he had stopped to see the ducks and swans.
Yeah, baby ducks. And I would take my stick and put it down, and like fish would come up and try and eat the stick, and my stick would just rattle. And
Oh, that's
they'd
cool.
leave. Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was.
know that.
That's why I paused for such a long time.
Mhm.
There were ducks and fish who would try to eat my stick, but then they'd realize it's wood.
So the older friends and Jonathan must have walked on, and Daniel continued and then made a wrong turn somewhere. So luckily, I went back. I found him quickly. I told him to stick with people, probably. It probably
I
wasn't.
was trying to, but I thought they were right next to me while I was watching the ducks. They just kind of left.
Ducks can lead you astray, apparently.
I thought you were ahead of me too.
No, I wasn't. I
Apparently
was
not.
behind you. Thank goodness. And so then I walked on, and I turned around, got him, and we continued walking. So that was the first time we lost Daniel. The second time we walked Daniel was on the way to Navarrete.
We walked. Daniel.
And I'm pronouncing that so horribly, like I pronounce everything horribly. And there was this place where it looked like a Camino type road, and then but you were supposed to actually turn and get onto the main road and take and then take another path after walking on the main road for a little while. And Daniel didn't see the turnoff. Now, Jonathan and I were right behind him, like, I don't know, 50 yards maybe. And so we could see him fine. But when we shouted to him that he was going the wrong way, he didn't hear us. I don't know if he was listening to Harry Potter.
I was.
You were listening to Harry Potter. So that's another thing that headphones, while I think are necessary, because some of these stretches can be long and dull, and this particular stretch right before we lost him
Was the longest and dullest.
was long and dull, and there was a section right next to a freeway. There was a cool bull on the hill, and that's kind of cool. But it was right next to a freeway, so he was a little, he couldn't hear us. Let's just put it that way. So we ended up just following him. Now I could see Navarrete in the distance, and if you are on the Camino for, a day, no, probably more, 3 days, you know that the Camino goes by every little church in northern Spain that's on the Camino.
That's why it's so jagged.
Yeah, sometimes it takes you through places just to get to the church and down, because I guess the medieval pilgrims would stay at the churches. So anyways, or worship there, or would do whatever they do. But the churches, of course, are an integral part of the Camino. So I continued down the road. I looked at my map. Sure enough, there was this road that we were on, a little country road, would go into this town. We ended up walking in and then walking up the hill and to the church, and found the Camino again. it's funny because other people were getting lost in Navarrete too, and while we sat and had lunch there, we kept having to point them in the right direction. No, this way, that, that way, that way. So there are tricky places. The third time we got lost, I was with them and I was following Adam, because Adam, we did find each other all in Navarrete. We were finding, I was following Adam and Jonathan and Daniel, who were just walking along, having a great time talking, and they missed a turn. And one of the Spaniards stopped them and said, no, 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 the Camino's that way, in Spanish, of course. Aquí, and it's just a few hundred yards. We had just gone a little bit too far. So we all turned around and walked back, and it was no big deal. And that's another thing. The Spanish people are very, very helpful at keeping you on the Camino. They probably just don't want you wandering aimlessly through their towns. Like, get out of here, pilgrim, get out of here. Move along, move along. And then the fourth time, it's not a huge time that we got lost. We were on our way from Navarrete to Najera, and there again, you're walking by the road for a long time, and we should have continued walking through by the road because it would have shortened the distance. But there were signs, and I don't know if they're trying to reroute the Camino to this town. It's an alternative route that goes up to Ventosa. And I don't know if they're trying to reroute the Camino up there so that more people go to their town and, it's better for business or what. But the main Camino signs were pointing up to Ventosa, which they were not last year. So we went up to Ventosa, and then it's kind of like a little loop around, whereas we should have gone straight. It's a little loop around. So not a big deal. And we got to see Ventosa. I think we stopped and had an ice cream or something, went to the bathroom, and then got on our merry way to Najera. But just wanted to talk about those times that we got lost and why we got lost, because there were different reasons, every single time, and how we found our way back. And we did make it to Najera.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a hard day.
That was a hard day. Why was it a hard day?
Because it was very long.
It was very long. It was a long day. It was 28.9 kilometers. So many,
how many miles?
Many opportunities to get lost. So anyway, buen camino. You're not going to say it?
No.
Okay, bye.